Hey, 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 welcome into another episode of the Seahawkers Show with your host, Todd Fox. That is me. The Seahawks are now 8-4 as we are, I'm making this preview Saturday morning. So the Rams, we already know, have beaten the Patriots 24-3. Cam Newton had a pathetic performance that did not help out the Seahawks. So with that being said, the Rams are a very, look, they're a division team. I know they're good, but I picked them to be fourth this year. I really thought the Cardinals would take the next step. I didn't think the Rams would be right back in the thick of things, but then the Niners had the big Super Bowl hangover, and it's kind of messed everything up. The Cardinals have been slacking lately. So right now, as it stands, the Rams have a game and a half lead on the Seahawks. Seahawks need to win a game just to tie them at 9-4, but still a half game back because the Rams own the tiebreaker. So you got to keep pace against the Jets. That giant loss was a giant loss. It was really bad. And the Seahawks just, look, Shaquem Griffin came out, and I thought it was a bad look. No matter what, if they took them for granted, he shouldn't have said that. And he came out and he said that they took the Giants for granted. Now, is that going to impact the Jet game? Are the Jets going to think they're taking them for granted? Are the Seahawks going to be more motivated to play harder? I don't know. My biggest concern was I don't think they took him for granted because the Giants won straight up. And I think the fact that the Seahawks just played around, meddled offensively, they're as I broke down the other game or from last video, they just freaking didn't decide to run aggressive plays. Wilson was holding the ball too long. He's been very tentative. If I have Lockett and I have these other receivers like DK Metcalf, who's the best receiver I think right now in football, and then you add now Josh Gordon, and you have guys like David Moore who's very capable of getting open. You have Hollister, and you have running backs like Carson who does very good out of the backfield. Why are you being tentative at all? Why are you holding the ball so long and just not trusting your receivers? The Giants don't have a secondary to the Dallas Cowboys of the 90s or the Seattle or the San Francisco 49ers of the 90s. This is a defense that is very middle of the road. They're not that great, and the Seahawks made them look awesome. And their pass rush is very young. They're getting better, yes, but the Giants should not have dictated what happened in that game. And we all know, as a fan, if you know your football, the Giants were going to do exactly what they did on offense, which was a guy who's been in the league way too long, career backup quarterback, Colt McCoy, nothing special at all. You make him throw. You stack the box, and you force him to throw. The Giants still dictated time of possession, and they still dictated the overall game flow. So I didn't even get into the stats last video about what happened, but it was pretty pathetic numbers on offense for the Seahawks. And then the defense did its best, but they didn't get the stops when they needed to. I thought that there was a couple series that cost them, gave up the 17 points. But even though they did, and even though the Giants still mustered 17 points, that's still no excuse. The Seahawks should have scored at least 20 and got that win. So with that being said, like and subscribe to the video. Please share with another 12. I'm trying to grow this thing. It would be fantastic if you guys could do that. Let's get into the Jets-Seahawks preview, okay? And my opening statements with this one, because I had to ramble on about the giant loss, because it was a giant loss. No pun intended again. But the Jets are 0-12. They're 0-12 for a reason. And if you watched a little bit of what the Raiders did, because I'm going to show you some Jet plays versus the Raiders, and I'm going to show you what they did good and what they don't do good. And there's a lot that they don't do good. Now, the Raiders do play a bit of a zone, but they don't have the players that Seahawks do on defense. So you'll see the Jets tear apart this zone and kind of shred it, and then also run it really good against the Raiders. I don't think they're going to get those runs against the Seahawks. It's going to come down to, can they catch Captain Mono with some sacks, force him into interceptions, Captain Mono being Sam Darnold. The Jets, look, whether they have, I would have felt a lot better if Flacco was starting this game, but Darnold does have more talent, but he'll show flashes of brilliance, and then he'll do a lot of stupid plays as well. So he's the kind of quarterback where it's 50-50, and you can't give this team any confidence. Like any other team in the NFL, I don't care if it's the Jets, I don't care if it's the Giants, I don't care if it's insert failing team here, Bengals, whatever. The longer you leave a team in the game, the more confidence that they get. There has been only one game that in 2.5 years that the Seahawks have won by double digits, and that was last year's game in Arizona where they actually dominated the Cardinals and won 27-10. Since then, they've either lost by less than 10 or they've won by less than 10, and oftentimes less than a touchdown, and most times about a field goal. Now, you could say, well, Todd, you're overreacting. They're still at a win clip of about 70%. You know, Pete Carroll's got a fantastic record. That's great. I understand all that. My problem is, and has been all season, if you've watched any of my videos more than once, you've heard me say, especially in prediction videos, you have to step on a team's throat. You have to take advantage. When they fumble the football or turn the ball over, cash that damn thing in. You know, go back down and get a stop. Do not give up a touch. Do not score a touchdown. Work your ass off on offense, and then defense get pretty and get all cute, and don't do the things that got you into the position that you're in. So, say for instance, the Seahawks are up 7-3. A team turns the ball over. You cash it in. You go up 14-3. All the momentum is with you. That means if I'm the defensive coordinator, if I'm Ken Norton, I'm screaming at my teammates and my defensive team. This is the time we could put these a-holes away. Step on their throat. Let's get some blitzes. Let's dial up something kind of creative. Let's knock these guys out. No long drive. Shut them down. 3 and out. Let's give it right back to our offense. Put the pressure right back on the defense and go for the kill shot. Instead, what happens if you've watched? Pay attention if the Seahawks take a 10-point lead, at least, because I've seen it several times this year. Arizona game where we lost. A bunch of other games where we shouldn't have been in the Patriots. That game should have been over. But what happened? Defense got cute. They started sitting back, playing off of receivers 10 yards or more. They started not blitzing anymore. You started just then you blitzed the wrong times. You know what I mean? Everything was dialed up the wrong way, and you let teams back in the game. Momentum shifts. All of a sudden, their defense comes out with fire because their defensive coordinator is like, look, we're within one score. We haven't been in this game all game. Let's freaking go after them. Let's get the ball back to our offense. That's the problem with the Seattle Seahawks 2019 team, which fell short against the Packers, and then the 2020 team, which who knows what's going to happen now, because in my opinion, we've lost 3 games that have now either will cost us the division, but has definitely cost us the number 1 spot. The Giants game really screwed us over. With the Falcons not rising to the occasion and getting that win, which they should have against the Saints, with the Packers continuing to get these easy opponents over and over and over, we're not going to catch the Saints. We have an outside chance of catching the Packers because I think we'll have a better, stronger record if we tie them as far as opponents and whatever. So we would get the number 2 spot. But right now, as it looks, now the most important thing is winning your division, because if you don't win your division, guess where we're headed? We're headed to New York to play the Giants, because most likely, or the Redskins, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, I'm sorry, PC, Washington team. And dude, I'm kind of right now leery with Washington. We get them in 2 weeks or next week, so that's going to be a tough game. We're going to see what Washington's about when they play the Niners, and they're getting better. They beat the Steelers. So right now, as far as I said, during the season, I was like, I'm not going to look ahead. I'm not going to look ahead 1 week at a time, 1 week at a time. I got into this mode where I think the Seahawks did the same damn thing. If you listen to the media, they were like, you got a 4-game stretch here where it's easy opponents, blah, 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 blah. I think that got in their heads, and they played the Giants, and then even the coaching staff. Now you got to flip the script and start all over and say, you know what, we got to get into a championship mentality, like Pete Carroll always says, 1 game at a time, blah, blah. It's all coach speak, but it makes sense. And I think if they would have kept that mentality, this would have been a much better game against the Giants. And now they have to play championship quality now and focus only on the Jets, get that W, and then we'll move on from there and see what happens. So let me jump into this. Let me show you what the Jets do right. Let's show you what they do wrong. Here's a Jets-Seahawks preview. Now remember, this is an 0-12 team. 0-12 team right here. So this is not like your squad that the Seahawks are normally headed up against. This is not going to be your typical opponent. So here we go with this. Now, right here, I'm going to show you real quick. The Raiders are playing what the Seahawks don't do. They're not really playing blitz right here. The Raiders do play some form of zone. So they do play, like I said, they do play the kind of defense Seattle does. But they don't have the type of players to rely on like the Seahawks do, so they will get gashed, and I'll show you a few plays. This is the first drive for the Jets, actually. You'll see the shotgun formation. You'll see the one-on-one coverage right here. Everyone's kind of on the line. They're kind of worried about the run right here. I don't know why, or they're trying to blitz, but it doesn't come through. Late five-man blitz, that's wide open. And that's what happens when you have someone fall down and you have single coverage. The defender fell down, receiver's wide open. Now watch here as they just gash the Raiders.
4 catches last week in the loss to Miami, nearly 80 yards. This time they keep it on the ground, and this is a good-looking run. That's Ty Johnson.
0-12 or not, if the Jets are able to do that, the Seahawks are in trouble. You cannot allow the Jets to run the ball. Force Darno to try to beat you. Do what you couldn't do in 2 drives. I mean, for the most part, they kept McCoy. I mean, come on. Dude only threw for 100 yards last week. They kept him in check. The problem is they didn't give him more chances to throw the football because he wasn't behind. He was able to just wind the clock, give the defense a chance to rest. And then when Wilson was out there, he was playing like the scared, tentative quarterback. So the last 3 to 4 weeks for the Seahawks have been unbelievably frustrating because they just don't have that type of killer instinct. So let's get back to it here.
Extra looks in this game. Darnold from the gun here. Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10.
See what happens when you leave him open? I mean, that wasn't the most accurate throw, but the receiver had separation, easy first down. And guess what? That was zone coverage on 3rd down, and he rolled over for the first down.
Here's Jonathan Abram going down last week on the shelf today. Knee injury. 2nd game that he's missing on the season. Another run play called by Gase.
Aggressive, and they went downfield and tried to take shots.
Darnold quick.
Again, more time.
Crosser, 1st down Jets. And a lot more. This is Denzel Mims. Darnold again from the gun. Looks left, throws left to the end zone.
Touchdown.
For the Jets, touchdown. It's Crowder.
Now, you can argue that the Jets do have some good players. Crowder's one of them. He's definitely going to be a receiver to watch. Mims is out on COVID. He had a personal family problem. And once you leave their bubble, you have to get retested. It takes a couple days. So Mims, their 2nd best receiver, out. So, and he's a good player, actually. So that kind of helps, but I don't know. Now, here's the Jets defense right here.
From the gun on 3rd and 8. Pocket starts to collapse. It's completed. Waller.
Did you see how slow 44 was catching up to Waller? Their defense is not good. Their linebackers are very slow. This is an 0-12 team for a reason. And when they lost the game, I'll show you the last play. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the stupidest coverage you'll ever see. Keep in mind, Greg Williams, and this is a problem. Keep in mind, Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, was fired after this game. So the defenses that I'm showing you right here that are ultra aggressive against the Raiders, there's a very good chance we won't see those because Greg Williams was calling the plays from the sideline as the defensive coordinator. The coach does not. Adam Gase for the Jets does not have the ability to call defensive plays. So whoever the defensive coordinator is, it's coming straight from him. So that means his strategy has changed up against will be different from this one. But I'm just showing you some of the talent that the Jets have on defense, which isn't that much. But I'm very interested to see what kind of dynamics and kind of formations the Jets throw at the Seahawks.
Henry Ruggs in motion, 2nd and 8.
See, he has forever right there. You give Wilson that kind of time. See, and here's the problem. That kind of time you saw that Carr had, Wilson had that time against the Giants. But Wilson decided, I'm going to hold on to the ball. I'm going to run around, get all cute in the pocket. And again, he's lost his mojo, his killer instinct, because instead of taking a shot and trusting your receivers, that has been my biggest thing on Wilson, negative on Wilson lately, is the fact that he's not trusting his receivers. Now, he's thrown some pretty stupid picks this year, but not because it was because he trusted his receivers. It was because of inaccurate throws or maybe tipped balls off of receivers' hands that were in traffic. I haven't seen him really just say, you know what, DK's got one-on-one coverage, the defender's on him, I'm going to throw it up there and just see if he can get it. I haven't seen him do that. And he's got guys like Lockett put themselves in position, and even Lockett's not the kind of guy like Metcalf who will just go up and get it if it's a double team. Lockett's the kind of guy who will draw contact and get the penalty. So at least with Lockett, you have a chance of getting a huge pass interference call. Or Lockett can beat his man. He can adjust something, right? Metcalf, it's like, you know what? Even if he's double covered, I'd throw it to him and throw it up high. Because if even on the Hail Mary against the Giants, he got pretty good hands on the ball. So why not? And that's between 4 guys. So why not give your receivers a shot? Why not let them try to dictate the flow of the game? Because, I mean, look, take shots till you throw a pick. And that's not what he's doing. So I'm just frustrated with the Seahawks offense because they're leaving a lot of points on the field.
Play clock down to 0 is what it just barely.
Again, Jets blitz and it's futile. The Seahawks have a better offensive line than the Raiders.
They love to take shots down the field on second and third.
There's no pass rush, no pass rush, no pass rush,
Initially looked down the field, it's intercepted.
and that's the problem.
Hands of Ruggs, and it's picked off.
All that was really, that should have been a first down. All that was really the fact that Carr couldn't throw an accurate throw. He throws that in the breadbasket instead of like where the receiver has to jump as high as he can. That's a first down. But it's just a terrible throw, and it goes right to a Jet receiver. Same thing that happened when Colt McCoy threw that pass and Diggs made the interception. It wasn't really the fact that the ball wasn't there. If McCoy throws the ball to that receiver, it's another first down on the Seahawks. Instead, he throws it high, bounces off the receiver's hands, goes right to Diggs.
Darnold looking right.
And see, this is what happened right here. Let's go back here for a second. Watch right here the pass rush on Darnold. Now the other plays I showed you, the first drive, he literally had all the time in the world. Now here's a drive where the Raiders get pressure in his face, and he will throw these stupid passes because this is one-on-one coverage, but the defender's all over the receiver. This shouldn't have been thrown. Watch. He feels the pressure and just throws it, and it's picked off. That's a terrible pass. Now here's the Raiders again. They pick up the blitz. First down.
He's really been their best receiver.
Terrible tackling. 1, 2. Now that's Darren Waller, dude. Imagine this. That's Waller, who's really like a statue, but he's just big and he's got some speed. Imagine Metcalf, who's big, got some speed, strength, and he's got jukes, and just he's like a freaking Nephilim man. He's huge. Imagine what he could do against the Jets. So that's why I say throw it to him all day. Here it is again. Easy. They're playing zone, soft zone. Again, zone. I'm just interested to see if the Jets will blitz. Because look at that. They're up on the line again, trying to blitz. They overrun it, first down. Here they come again, but they fake back. Easy pass. So even though they faked the blitz, it still wasn't there.
Raiders picking up positive yardage when they run up inside against this Jets defense.
Raiders going 3 tight ends. Carr rolls out. Second and goal. He's going to run for it.
I was surprised he made it right there. That could be Wilson. Now here's the last play of the game. It's 28-24. The Jets gave the ball back. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you see the defense that they're running right here? This is the last play I'm going to show you guys. The Jets have 4 guys back here. 2 safeties, 2 corners, and then you have a corner right here, two linebackers, and then a 4-man rush. Raiders are in shotgun. David Carr was quoted as saying he saw that the Jets were initiating another blitz, another cover 0. So what that means is there's no one on the backside and there's no safety help over top. Why you would run this in this situation is clearly egotistical. The Jets, Greg Williams, yes, is a great coach, is a good defensive coordinator. He did wonders with Cleveland last year. But my thing is, in plays like this, it's really stupid because he's trying for the kill shot with 13 seconds left to go. They don't need a field goal. Now, I can understand maybe playing something like this if they needed a field goal and you're trying to protect that line of gain right there to get into field goal coverage, field goal position. But this is a position where you're just trying to hold a lead. And to me, and any other team that I've seen in any type of other year, game, whatever, in this situation, you will have 3 men on the line you will come out with you'll take this defender away and put in another corner. The linebackers will be back around the 30, and then these safeties and corners will be around the 20. And then when the ball is snapped, they will drift back almost to the end zone. And so what I'm saying here is there's no need to blitz. Why would you blitz right here? You're trying to protect a 4-point lead, and they have 13 seconds and no timeouts. All you're trying to do is keep these guys in bounds so that you can make a tackle and then end the game. Or if anything, give up a 10, 15-yard out. They waste about 6 to 7 seconds. You're cutting down what they could do. If they were to get to the 30 or the 25, you still got all that to protect. You're fine. But this is what happens. I mean, this is just simple pitch and catch. Watch. The Jets blitz. David Carr realizes it, calls a coverage, extra blocker in. The tight end stays in. It's just pitch and catch.
Jets coming. Carr puts some air under it. Wide open his legs for the touchdown. Miraculous.
There's literally no excuse for that. That play right there, Carr had time to throw. He stepped up. There was no one to help out on the backside. Why are you playing one-on-one with the receiver? Okay, so if you want to blitz, drop the cornerbacks way back. Drop them back so that if something was caught, you have room to catch them and tackle them. Because if you drop him back and he throws a floater like that, most likely it's intercepted or the defender has a good chance to knock it down. So, look, that's Jets football in a nutshell. Some may say that they're trying to tank. They're 0-12. Please, Jets, this is a shout-out to you. If you're trying to tank for Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback from Clemson, continue what you're doing. Give us a win because we obviously need it. The last 5 weeks, the Seahawks had not played like the Seahawks from the beginning of the season. And we need to get back to a fiery attitude. My thing is this. Like I said, take one game at a time. And I'm not going ahead, but I'm just thinking best case scenario right here. The Seahawks win against the Jets. The Seahawks win against the Washington team in a tough, hard, because that game's going to be a hard-fought game. The Redskins. Washington team has a really good defense. And then you get into your final games, which is against the Cardinals, which is against the Rams, excuse me. That is a huge game. The Seahawks, in my opinion, have to be 2-0 before they head into that game, because if Arizona does knock off the Rams, that's a huge help for the Seahawks. And then all the Seahawks have to do is win that game, and the division's theirs. And then they could rest their guys against the Niners, which will most likely have Kittle back by that time, if they rush him back, if they're still in the playoff hunt. And then also Garoppolo, because there's a chance both can be playing by the end of the game, the end of the season. Now, would I like to still steamroll the Niners? Yes. But if we've got nothing to play for as far as a better seed or the division, then yes. But that game's going to very much count if the Seahawks keep dicking around with these teams. They're going to have to fight for everything they get. So take one game at a time. Let's try to beat these Jets. My prediction on this game, score prediction, I've been pissed off all year because none of my predictions as far as winning easy have worked. My wins have come. But like last week, I predicted if the Seahawks score more than, the Giants should only score 10 to 17 points. Seahawks should score over 20, so the Seahawks should win. This one, I give the Darno and the Jets a little more credit. I think that they will score around 17 to 20 points as well. But I'm not going to pick a 10-point victory because, if anything, you have to show me, damn it, Carol, that you can win by double digits or more. And it will be nice just to watch a game one time where the Seahawks are dominating and can continue and finish the game and win like 30 to 10. Not be up 20 to 10, and then all of a sudden it's butt-clinching time at the end of the game where the other team ties it and you have to try to win it in the end. No. I want the Seahawks to win this game and blow them out, but it's not going to happen. So give me the Seahawks winning 23 to 20. It's going to be an ugly football game at some point, but Seattle will hold on. It's just until you prove me wrong, I'm not going to give you credit, Seahawks and Carol. I'm not going to be sitting back there and saying we're going to blow a team out. So until that happens, because it's been over a year now Because if you remember, that Cardinal game was, I think, week 10 of last year, something like that, where they won 27-10. It might have been even earlier in the season. So we've gone a year without having blown anybody out. So let's get it done. Go Hawks. We need this victory really, really, really bad to keep our division hopes in place, to not be embarrassed by 2 New York teams back-to-back, and just, for God's sake, we can't lose to the Jets.